Hey there, thank you so much for checking out today's recording. And in this particular section, we're going to be having a quick but very powerful training. And it's something I've actually put together to help you thinking differently when it comes to advertising and also to help you get started. Now, what I'm about to share with you is not just another tutorial on how to actually run meta ads for your own business. No, not just that. Now, this is something profound. This is something that helps you think differently when it comes to advertising, and it's something that I actually like to call the ads to booking framework, as you can see right here on my screen. Now, the ad to booking framework, it's the complete system that takes a stranger online, maybe a newly engaged couples, takes them all online, all the way down to them being a paying client in your wedding business. So, just a recap. The ad to booking framework is the complete system that takes a complete stranger online, an engaged couple online, all the way down to them handing over their money to you and saying, I want you to actually film my wedding for me. So this is that complete system. And it's actually specifically designed for wedding pros, wedding business, wedding photographers, wedding videographers, etc. And at the core of the system is what marketers like to call the sales funnel. As you can actually see right here on my screen, the sales funnel. And our sales funnel in this case is actually divided into three different audiences. We have the cold audience, next we have the warm audience, followed by the hot audience. Now, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to break these three different audiences down for you to actually understand. Break it very, very simple for you to actually understand. And when you can actually understand how to speak to these three different audiences, the cold audience, the warm audience, and the hot audience, once you actually understand how to speak to these three different audiences, that is when the magic actually happens. So without actually wasting much time, let's get started. So everything actually starts at the top of the funnel here. As you can see, is written starting point. Everything starts at the top of the funnel there. Now, this is literally where you actually, introduce yourself to newly engaged couples. Now, the couple in this case might actually be a straight couple, it might actually be a gay couple, I don't care. But this is where you actually introduce yourself to the newly engaged couples, introduce yourself and your brand, and then through different strategic touch points, you actually get to warm them up to become warmer audience. You understand? Using different strategic touch points, you get to warm them up to become warmer audience, and also using different strategic factors that we actually impute into our marketing, we get them to become hot audience, all the way down to become booked audience. Now, at this point, this is where they actually hand over their money to you. This is where they actually say, okay, I want you to actually film my wedding for me. Understand? So now this is where they actually become booked audience. You get? So this is where they actually become booked audience. Now, just to go a little bit into the different audience, let's go a little bit deeper into the different type of audience. Like I said, I'm going to break it down for you to actually understand. So now, starting with the cold audience, you see the goal of the cold audience is just to get in front of newly engaged couples and to sort of introduce yourself and your brand. Now, these are couples who don't actually know you yet. When I say cold audience, this audience actually know you yet. So the goal is actually to get in front of these new engaged couples and introduce yourself and also introduce your brand to this audience. Now, at this point, you're not even asking for more details, you're not even asking for a sale yet. You're just basically going up to introduce yourself. I call it like the handshake. When you meet someone for the first time, just shake hands with them and you sort of introduce yourself to them. So this is that same case. You're not asking for more details yet, just going up and introducing yourself and your brand to them. Now, from there, after you actually introduce your brand and yourself to them, what then happens next? Well, some of them actually like your stuff, and some person might actually comment, some person might actually even watch your video, but then they actually forget about you. They actually forget about you. So what then is actually the solution? Well, I actually believe you get right. Retargeting. You see, we're actually going to retarget this same audience. Now, we're actually going to do that using the data that we've actually gotten from Meta by running ads on cold audience at first. We're actually going to use that to actually retarget the same persons. So I'm using data we have actually gotten by running ads on this cold audience or the previous cold audience at first. Now you actually have data. So based on that data that we have actually gotten, we're actually going to retarget those same audience. And this is simply because studies have actually shown that it takes up to 7 to 11 touch points before someone actually considers booking you. Now, that is to say, before someone actually considers having you as their wedding photographer, before someone actually considers hiring you to shoot their wedding, maybe pay you 2K, 3K, 10K in some cases to shoot their wedding, they need to actually trust you first. Trust is a very important factor when it comes to marketing. And this is something I hammer in on that. Now, think about it from your own perspective. When was the last time that you actually went to a business owner and you bought something significant from them without actually trusting them? No, that's not the case. You must actually first trust them. So now think about it in this same scenario also. Now this is almost the same concept. We want to actually keep building that, that relationship through retargeting ads. We want to actually keep building that relationship, starting conversation, and also ultimately building that trust. And we can actually do that using retargeting ads. You get? Now let's talk about the old way of marketing. You see, this is the old way of marketing. This is what I see a lot of wedding business owners actually do day in and day out. They boost posts instead of using the ads manager. And one thing I've said it in my previous video, you can actually go check that out. And it's that, when you actually boost posts, you actually just donating money to Meta. You get? That's you actually not running a marketing strategy. All you actually doing is pay Meta, maybe say $50 to $100. In some cases, maybe even lesser. And you're basically hoping and praying that the right people actually see your ads, and when they see your ads, they somehow magically do the right thing, book a meeting with you, or buy from you, stuff like that. And that is simply not just a marketing strategy. And also, when you actually boost posts instead of using the ads manager, the actions you can actually take are very, very limited. You can maybe say something like age, rate, interest, targeting, like, also followers now, but just very, very limited. Understand? Now, the old way of marketing is also running one random campaign with no strategy at all. Just running one single campaign with no strategy at all. The old way of marketing was also sending cold leads straight to actually book now page. Now, this is something I see a lot of wedding business owners actually do. They send their cold leads straight to a book now page. Now, this actually used to work before, big time. It actually used to work. But then the market is actually getting a little bit saturated. And also, it's something I call marketing sophistication. That means a lot of time have actually passed and persons have actually figured out the marketing tactics out there. So they're now thinking that they actually need more than one ad to actually get booked. And of course, you actually know that trust is a very, very important factor in marketing. You need to actually trust you first before they buy from you first. Like I said before, also think about it from your own perspective. If you actually want to pay a stranger $5,000 or $10,000 just to film a wedding for you, who would you rather go for? You definitely go for someone you actually trust, of course. Now, the old way of marketing was also no warm-up, no nurturing, no retargeting. And also the old way of marketing also targeting every single one at the same time, no audience distinction. And the old way of marketing was also no tracking of data, no idea of what's working and what's even not working at all. Now let's move on to the new way of advertising, which is matching the right message to the right audience. That is the new way of advertising. Before actually going to the new way of advertising, let's do a recap on the cold audience. Like I said previously, the goal of the cold audience is to get in front of newly engaged couples who don't actually know yet and introduce them to your brand. Sort of like the handshake, you introduce them to your brand. You're not actually even asking for any details yet or any stuff like that. And then we actually warm them up through retargeting ads. And now we actually retarget those same persons through retargeting ads. And this is simply because we want to actually stay in front of people who have engaged with your first ad, but they haven't actually inquired yet. So we retarget them to stay in front of them, to be in top of their mind, not actually staying on top of their mind. So this is all about keep building that relationship, keep building that that momentum, and also keep building that trust. And like I said, trust is a very, very important factor when it comes to marketing. So from there, once we actually retarget those same audience and actually build that relationship, they actually become hot audience. And now they might actually not be 100% ready to actually hand over their money to you, but they're actually a bit warmer. They actually know about your brand yet. They have actually liked your stuff, maybe actually following you online, or maybe this person have actually visited your website. So the goal is then to convert your most interested leads into paying clients. That is simply the goal. And the great thing is that in the Facebook Ads Manager, you can actually create custom audience. You can actually create custom audience in the Facebook Ads Manager. And as opposed to when you were actually boosting posts, you can actually create custom audience based on persons who have actually visited your website over the last 180 days. You can also create custom audience based on persons who have actually watched your video, understand, from 25% to 50%, all the way down to 75% over the last 365 days. And you can also create a custom audience on Instagram engagers who have engaged you on Instagram, and also your Facebook list subscribers, and also your email list subscribers. Now, if you actually have email list, just keep watch. I'm going to share you. Now, if you actually have an email list, don't worry. I'm creating a video on how to actually, and actually set up email lists for your business. And also, you can actually target persons who have actually submitted your form. If you run an ad using Facebook, Meta lead form, you can actually target those persons who have actually filled the form, and even person who actually didn't fill the form, you can actually run ads to retarget those same persons. Now, if you're actually not running retargeting ads, you're not just missing out on sales, you're actually leaving money on the table from persons who are actually interested in booking. These are persons who have actually visited your website. These are persons who are already following you, who actually know a lot about your brand already. So these are persons who are already interested. So you're actually leaving money on the table on these persons. And like I said, these are persons who have actually visited your website, they have engaged with your content, they have watched your video, you understand, they're already in your world. So your job now is actually to stay at the top of their mind, make it easy for them to actually take the next step. That is simply your job. That is simply your job at this point. You're actually not guessing. These persons are already interested, they're already in your world. So that brings me to the end of this video recording now. I believe you've actually found value in this video. If you found value, please like and subscribe and share this video to somebody that might actually be interested as well. Now, I'm going to be creating more videos. You can actually check out my other videos. I did a video on meta ads fundamentals, to walk you through step-by-step guide on how to actually set up meta ads on your own. Now, I will also be creating more videos on how to actually set up email list subscribers if you don't have one. So you can also actually book a one-on-one meeting with me. I'll be leaving a link down in the description as well. So thank you so much for checking out this video. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.